Have you ever noticed how some moments feel electric, more intense than others? Not because of what's happening on the surface, but because of what's quietly unfolding underneath. True intimacy is never merely physical. It's a subtle psychological dance disguised as tenderness. Curious? Most men completely misread this, thinking it's all about the body. For a woman, it's far deeper. Trust, surrender, energy exchange, and the delicate balance of control. It's where vulnerability meets dominance, and the polarity between the two becomes undeniable. Today, we're diving into 5 unshakable psychological truths about what deep intimacy really means to a woman. Not the glossy, romanticized version, but the raw, unspoken reality beneath it. Excited? Welcome to all our dedicated subscribers, your support keeps this space alive and growing. May you and your loved ones always remain safe, strong, and resilient. If you're new here, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. This is where we don't chase validation. We decode human behavior, explore psychology, philosophy, and attraction, and uncover lessons no classroom ever taught. Let's start. Truth number 1. Intimacy is her ultimate test of emotional safety. When she lets herself be vulnerable, it's never just about physical access. It's a window into her trust. She's silently asking, "Can I truly feel safe with him?" You might see it as casual, but her body rarely lies. Without emotional security, intimacy feels like betrayal to her psyche. If she senses instability, anger, or ego-driven behavior, she cannot fully let go. A woman's deepest instinct is always self-preservation, shielding herself from the turbulence of a man who can't master his own emotions. When she finally allows herself to let go, it's not driven by lust, it's reverence. She's quietly honoring your steadiness, your discipline, your calm under pressure. She's responding to the control you have over yourself. This is the nuance most men completely miss. True power and intimacy isn't taken, it's earned through safety. But safety alone doesn't spark desire. Once emotional trust lays the groundwork, what fuels the intensity above it? That brings us to the next truth, the primal core of female attraction. Truth number 2. Intimacy is her measure of your power. Let's be clear. Attraction isn't fair or democratic. It's instinctive. Women don't just feel desire. They gauge it subconsciously. Every intimate moment becomes a test of your composure, your dominance, and how grounded you remain under pressure. It's not about controlling her. It's about mastering yourself. A man who stays calm, centered, and assured during emotional intensity radiates certainty. The feminine craves protection within chaos, but also longs to feel the storm itself. When masculine strength merges calm presence with intensity, surrender flows naturally. She's not reacting to your body. She's responding to the quiet authority of your self-command. Your calm presence has the power to transform her inner turbulence into serenity. That's why men who master their emotions naturally attract on a deeper level. She isn't craving attention or validation. She's seeking gravity, a presence that grounds her. Think about the force of silence. The Stoic principle of attraction shows that your composed energy often pulls people, especially women, far more strongly than any words ever could. But this goes beyond dominance alone. True intimacy isn't just about control. It's also about understanding that real connection sometimes demands mutual surrender. In intimate moments, every woman becomes consciously or not a careful observer. She watches your tone, your pauses, your breathing, your hesitation, and ultimately, your essence. She isn't reacting to your physicality, she's responding to the energy you radiate. What you give in those moments isn't just touch, it's truth. Your authenticity, your restraint, your intention. Women are finely tuned to emotional inconsistency. If your words say, "I care," but your energy screams, I'm performing, she will notice immediately. That's why stoic mastery, being fully present, grounded, and unshakable, outshines superficial confidence. When you embody this, she feels safe enough to let go and surrender naturally. It's not that she's weak. It's that your stillness gives her the emotional space to open up. In those moments, intimacy becomes something almost sacred, a form of spiritual transparency. She's quietly asking herself, who is this man? When no one is watching, when she perceives your steady composure and grounded presence, what begins as respect naturally evolves into genuine connection. It's in that calm, unwavering energy that she feels safe enough to reveal her true self, knowing that what she shares won't be met with chaos or judgment. Your presence becomes a silent invitation for trust, surrender, and authenticity, creating a depth of intimacy that words alone could never achieve. Intimacy at its deepest level is rarely about physical closeness. For a woman, it's a barometer of trust, emotional safety, and the energy you bring into a space. Every gesture, pause, and expression communicates far more than words ever could. When a man demonstrates emotional composure and self-mastery, he creates an environment where she feels safe to reveal her vulnerabilities. This doesn't mean she's passive or weak. It means she's attuned to the quality of your presence. She's measuring your steadiness, your consistency, and your ability to remain anchored even when emotions run high. That's why traditional notions of charm or physical attractiveness often fall short. They can't replicate the pull of someone who is centered, disciplined, and emotionally reliable. True intimacy emerges when there's a balance of polarity. Vulnerability meets control, energy meets stillness, and desire is sparked not by coercion, but by trust and admiration. The dynamic isn't one-sided. While she responds to your self-control, your own awareness of her energy heightens the connection. You learn to listen not just to her words, but to the silent signals of tension, hesitation, or longing. Every micro-expression, every breath, and every subtle shift in posture communicates volumes. This is why the act of intimacy becomes almost a psychological language, a dialogue of presence rather than speech. A man who understands this doesn't just react, he guides with calm authority and attuned awareness. In these spaces, desire grows naturally because it's rooted in recognition of authenticity, recognition of safety, and recognition of energy. What she feels is not just attraction, it's a deep resonance with someone who embodies stability, self-mastery, and the rare ability to make her feel fully seen and protected. The interplay of power and surrender is where real connection thrives. She craves a man who is confident without being overbearing, dominant without being controlling, intense without being volatile. It's this balance that creates magnetic tension, a pull that isn't forced but inevitable. Emotional trust forms the foundation, but the energy above it, the calm, unwavering presence, the controlled intensity, ignites desire. In essence, intimacy is a performance of truth rather than display. Every interaction is a subtle test of character, composure, and authenticity. Men who grasp this understand that what draws a woman in is rarely the physical act itself, but the emotional and psychological environment they cultivate. In this space, love, desire, and vulnerability all intersect, creating an intimacy that transcends the superficial and touches the profound. At its core, this type of intimacy is about presence. Every interaction, every shared moment becomes a test of energy rather than words. A woman instinctively reads whether your actions align with your intentions, whether your calm is real or just performance. She isn't consciously analyzing your behavior. Her subconscious perceives the subtleties, the micro-vibrations of confidence, restraint, and emotional clarity. This is why many men misunderstand intimacy. They focus on physical acts or verbal expression, missing the invisible exchange that defines true connection. The space between words, the steady rhythm of your breathing, the consistency of your attention, all of these communicate more than any compliment or gesture ever could. When she senses your energy is authentic, grounded, and self-contained, she feels safe to expose the layers of herself that are usually hidden. That's the essence of deep, transformative intimacy. This kind of connection also creates polarity, the magnetic tension that drives desire. A woman isn't drawn simply to what she can see. She's drawn to what she can feel. The certainty in your presence, the restraint in your energy, the confidence in your stillness. When vulnerability meets composure, when surrender meets control, the dynamic becomes irresistible. She isn't surrendering because she has to. She surrenders because your presence communicates safety, authority, and authenticity. Every glance, every touch, every pause becomes a dialogue of energy, a silent acknowledgement of mutual understanding. Real intimacy isn't hurried or forced. It's earned in the subtleties, in the invisible signals that communicate trust, awareness, and alignment. The beauty of this dynamic is that it's reciprocal. As she opens, as her vulnerability becomes visible, your own presence is amplified. You begin to feel the weight of her trust and the intensity of her responsiveness. And this heightens your awareness, your focus, and your emotional discipline. The intimacy becomes a shared experience of energy exchange, a loop of subtle feedback and understanding. You're not performing, and she isn't testing. It's a natural rhythm that unfolds when both energies are aligned. The deeper the connection, the more profound the attraction. Because desire at this level isn't superficial or fleeting. It's rooted in recognition of authenticity, control, and the rare capacity to cultivate a space where vulnerability and strength coexist. In the end, this is what separates ordinary interactions from unforgettable, magnetic intimacy. Men who grasp this understand that attraction isn't about force or manipulation. It's about mastery of self and the ability to create an environment where a woman feels both safe and alive. It's about presence, authenticity, and energy, not words or gestures alone. Intimacy becomes a reflection of character, a demonstration of stability, and a channel for deep psychological resonance. When a man embodies these qualities, he doesn't just capture attention. He cultivates connection, trust, and desire on a level that is rare, profound, and enduring.